Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Week 7 presentation on rough drafts. Okay, first an overview of this Week 7 English 90 presentation. We're going to discuss what a rough draft is. How do we define it? We're going to talk about the specific essay requirements for English 90. We're going to talk about the steps for creating a rough draft. And at the end, there'll be a recap of everything we've discussed. Let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, what is a rough draft? Rough drafts are the first draft, the initial draft you create for a paper or essay. They are not perfect, but are very important because they help you get your ideas down on paper. It's like building a sandcastle. You start with a basic shape, and then you can go back and make it better by smoothing out the edges and adding more detail. Rough drafts are a crucial step in the writing process because they give you something to work with and improve upon. Okay, now let's talk about the specific essay requirements for English 90. Create the rough draft of your English 90 essay using basic essay format. Refer to these previous Canvas pages to help you write this paper. Thesis statements, finding main ideas, supporting claims, finding sources, research process, structure of a paragraph, and basic essay format. Everything you learned in English 90, including the grammar lessons, will help you as you write your paper. Take what you've learned and apply it as you write. Okay, the rough draft paragraph, as well as the final essay in English 90, is a 5-paragraph essay. The first paragraph is the introduction, and it includes the thesis statement, which usually appears in the first or last sentence of the introduction paragraph. 3 well-developed body paragraphs, each with its own sub-argument branched out of the thesis, and your conclusion paragraph. Okay, your rough draft essay, in addition to your final essay in week 8, needs to be 12-point font, Times New Roman, double-spaced. APA formatted in-text citations and a list of references. To clarify, the rough draft essay does not require an in-text citation or a reference section. The final essay in week 8, however, requires one direct quote with an in-text citation and a reference section, okay, with at least that one citation. That's it. Okay, let's talk about the steps to creating a rough draft. Creating a rough draft is all about getting your ideas down on paper without worrying too much about perfection, okay? We are going to be able to improve our essays through the process of revision. So our initial ideas, when we get them down on the page, we might find that they're a little messy. It's okay. Leave yourself time to revise. Here are some tips to help you get started. Pre-writing strategies. Okay, brainstorm. Begin by jotting down all your ideas, thoughts, and key points related to your topic. Don't worry about structure or organization at this stage. This is an activity that we asked you to engage in English 90 in week 5 because that's where you really began the writing process. An outline. Create a basic outline to organize your ideas into a coherent structure. This will serve as a roadmap for your rough draft. You can, if you wanted to, for example, have an outline for each of the 5 paragraphs. Free writing. Another pre-writing activity, again, that you may have chosen in week 5. Write freely without worrying about grammar, spelling, or punctuation. Let your ideas flow without self-censorship. These are really good ways to get over the stress or anxiety you might feel when you look at a blank page in a Word document. Okay, this will help you to get going. Okay, focus on content. Your primary focus should be on developing your ideas and your arguments. Don't get bogged down by perfecting each sentence or paragraph. Leave yourself time to revise before you submit your rough draft. But that initial draft, while you're working on it, Focus on your ideas and your arguments. Keep moving forward. If you get stuck on a particular section, skip it and come back to it later. The goal is to keep the momentum going, keep generating and creating ideas, getting your thoughts and feelings and viewpoints onto the page. Embrace imperfection. Remember that it's called a rough draft for a reason. It's okay if your writing is messy or disorganized as you develop it. You can revise the essay after you finish writing all 5 paragraphs, and I recommend revising before you submit the rough draft essay at the end of week 7. Set realistic goals. Break your writing process into manageable chunks and set realistic goals for yourself. For example, aim to write a certain number of paragraphs or complete a specific section each day. Use your whole week rather than trying to get everything done at the very end. Seek feedback. If you're comfortable, share your rough draft with a trusted friend, family member, colleague, or mentor. Nightingale offers tutoring through the Nightingale Writing Center, so make sure to explore your resources. Just bear in mind that in general, the Writing Center will need to receive your rough draft a week in advance. So that's something that you want to take advantage of if you're able to start early, okay? If you still have 3 or 4 days, but not a full week, you can still submit it to the Writing Center. If they have time, of course they will get to it, but typically they need a week. Input from others can help you identify areas for improvement, and you can continue to revise before submitting your rough draft. Take breaks. Don't forget to take breaks to rest and recharge, not just for your body physically, but also for your mind. Stepping away from your writing can help you come back with fresh ideas, fresh eyes, and new ideas. Okay, you might, for example, want to go for a walk. Okay, to recap everything we discussed in this presentation, try various approaches. If one doesn't work for you, consider trying another approach. Your rough draft is a work in progress, so it won't be perfect, and that's okay. Remember that you can revise after you generate those 5 paragraphs. That's it, everyone. Thanks so much.